Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Um,
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully,
Good morning, Benny.
everybody got the invites here.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. What's that? Oh, that's your own computer. You need to lighten it up. Hey, good morning, Ladina. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Let me share my screen with you. All right. So, first thing I wanted to go over was, if you've never heard of this before, it's the 4 agreements. And there we go. So it's the 4 agreements, and basically what they are is a book that a Mexican author wrote. I think his name is Don Miguel Ruiz. And basically he came up with these 4 agreements. It's a short read. If you ever get a chance to read this book, I really highly recommend it. But you know, in life, I feel that it's very important that you try to adapt these agreements to your life. But now more than ever, during what we're going through, especially right now with what's going on, I think we even have to adhere to them even more. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And he says, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. So, you know, don't gossip about others. You know, don't speak against yourself, and use the power of your word and the direction of truth and love so that you will have more abundance. Number 2 is don't make assumptions. This one is so huge and such a game changer for life in itself, but even more for me in my business. It really made a huge difference because just because somebody said, hey, I want to sell my house, I used to be like, oh man, I got a listing. No, don't make assumptions. Don't assume that you're going to be the listing agent. Don't assume that it's guaranteed that they're going to sell or that they're going to sell with you. So he says, find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Hey, Joe Coy, if my client's credit doesn't come up to the 640 that you said, and it stays at 505, what's going to happen? Well, Benny, I'm not going to be able to get you loan docs, and I'm not going to be able to close your loan. All right. So now I'm not going to think to myself, oh, cool. At the end of the month, Joe Coy's going to close my deal, and I'm going to go take my kids to Disney World when I'm looking at my client's credit and they haven't done any improvements to it. You know, Joe Coy goes, yeah, your clients are working on their credit, and yeah, I'm going to be able to close it. Or he just says, hey, as long as your clients get this credit score up, I'm going to be able to close it. And you just assume, oh yeah, it's going to get closed. No, not necessarily, guys. So don't make assumptions. That'll help you a lot. I used to, client, we'd leave a property and they go, hey, I'm going to send you the offer via DocuSign so you could sign it in a few minutes. And I text them, hey, I just emailed you. And an hour would go by without getting the offer back signed. And I used to start thinking to myself, they changed their mind. Oh, they didn't like the property anymore. They talked to somebody else. They told them it's not a good deal. And then finally I'd call them. Hey, I emailed you that. Oh, you know what? It's because we're at lunch, man. We'll be back home in 30 minutes. We'll sign it then. Oh. So don't assume things. They also say, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So don't assume, okay? Don't take anything personally. That's number 3, is nothing others do is because of you, right? So when some of you don't come to this meeting, sometimes I do take it personally, but I shouldn't. See, so it's good that we're doing this, because I shouldn't. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality and their own dream. When you're immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering, right? If a buyer says they're going to meet you at 10 a.m. to look at a property and they don't show up, it's not your fault. It's theirs. It's something happened. They got called into work. They decided that, going to work is more important than looking at a house. So don't take it personally. Sometimes in our industry, somebody might say to you, oh, you suck as a real estate agent. Don't take it personally. Maybe they're having a bad day and they wanted to pick on you, right? Yesterday at lunch, we were talking with David Grimm about playing blackjack and how some guys get all bent out of shape when you take a card and then they don't get their hand, right? And they get all bent out of shape. And you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, the hand you react to the hand that you're dealt with in your own way. So, if somebody says, hey man, you took my card, that's something going on in their own mind. So number 4, and last but not least agreement, is always do your best. So it says your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. That's a big thing here. As we go, what is it, March, April, May, June, and now already in July, we're almost at 5 months of being under these semi-stay-at-home orders and whatnot due to COVID-19. One of the biggest things that I was saying right when this all came down was, are you going to be 2 months ahead, or are you going to be 2 months behind? Now that we're at almost nearing the end of month 5, are you 5 months behind, or are you 5 months ahead of everybody? Another thing, unemployment, a big portion of the unemployment is going to end at the end of this month. I was listening to NPR News. Again, David Grimm, don't get upset about this, but I was listening to NPR News today, and they said that they might have a vaccine by October, right? In Europe currently, or also in China, I believe, they're testing these 2 vaccines, and it looks like they might be the solution, and people are reacting well to them. So they said that the timeline says about maybe October is when you'll start seeing some of these roll out. But it's a race to be number 1 as far as coming up with a vaccine. So look at that. Even in times of this COVID-19, of course, somebody's looking to find the solution, and I guarantee you, there's probably bonuses advertised in these medicinal companies, as to who will come up with the first vaccine, So there's a race in any bad news. There's somebody going the opposite way trying to find the positive. So hopefully you guys will pick up that book. The 4 Agreements it's a quick, short read. And if you try to practice them daily, I guarantee your life will turn around. as you know, it'll help you just on a personal level and as well in your business. So highly recommend it. And I know it's one of those big time self development books that's out there. So, all right, let's get down to buyer, seller, wants, and needs. Does anybody have a new listing or any buyer needs that you might have out there? Please unmute yourself.
Hi, Benny, can you hear me?
Hi, Ludi. Yes, yes.
Yes, I have a listing coming up. If anybody will have a buyer, it's a home in Anaheim. It will be listed at $625. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's upgraded, especially the bathrooms, and freshly painted. It's probably going to be coming up next week. So if you want to have a shot to this house before everybody else, give me a call. Okay?
Debbie, excuse me, Debbie.
Oh.
Hello. Hi, Debbie, can you please put your phone number here in the chat box? Thank you.
You mean Ludi, right?
Ludi. Okay, I put it in there.
Thank you.
Hey, Ludi, and real quick, since I have you on the microphone, you know, I just noticed that there was like a little bit of a malfunction. Were you able to hear me the last few minutes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. My computer just, I don't know why, it just showed that there was a microphone malfunction, but okay, good.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, if we don't have anybody else, I'm going to show you guys, I have a couple things to share with you. I will go to our office inventory. So we currently have 7 pending listings with our office and 1 that's active. And I don't know if maybe Jolie, the one that's active, if she's gonna be going into escrow now. So guys, we have no active listings in the office, good and bad, I would say. Let's try to really work on getting some more listings. But in the meantime, if you are working on listings right now, I'd like to share a couple things with you here. Number 1, this is a video from John Glover. This is John Glover shot Jolie's listing that I was just about to mention, you guys, but she says it's going in escrow. But we'll show you his work. And Jolie, what does he charge?
For the video, drone, and photos, it was $575. Just photos is $220.
So for photos only is $220, and then he did $575 for the video, drone, and photography. So let's take a look here. Okay, you guys, so how am I gonna, okay. So basically, I mean, that one's already sold, but just wanted to show you guys that. Here's another thing I wanted to show you is another popular thing that's being used now with listings is Matterport. This is Renee and Eduardo, their listing that they had on 5865 Mezzanine Way. It is under contract, but just wanted to show you kind of like what Matterport looks like and what it does. So basically it's like an interactive virtual. They used a different company. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure who that company was. But I'm going to share with you guys in a second. John Fitzpatrick has partnered up with our company to offer us Matterport, and I'll show you just in a second. They also do Matterport, but theirs is a little bit different in that it does a video already. So this is just your regular Matterport that I'm showing you guys here. Let me go back. And another thing I wanted to point out to you guys is this. So of these 8 listings that we have in escrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them have either a virtual tour video or a Matterport. Let's go to Christina Fernow's recent listing in Long Beach, Topia. Now, this is the John Fitzpatrick product that they're selling to our company. And the difference with theirs is if you go here to the left, you hit play. And it does a Matterport tour of the home. And so unlike the video that you saw with Jolie, which I personally prefer the video, I just feel it makes it a little bit less robotic and less, you know, this, as you're seeing it this way. Some people have told me that they got a little bit of motion sickness from watching this, but this is just another option as we continue to go through COVID. There's nothing like having people actually come out to the property, and we're going to talk about that in the last portion of the meeting. But right now, a lot of these videos are highly being used for all of these listings. You know, when you look out there, almost everybody has either a Matterport or a property video going because of, you know, COVID and the situation. And then let's look at one more. How about, let's do this one here. Let's see what this is. Okay, there you go. And this is another John Fitzpatrick product. This was, I believe, on Gene Browning's listing. So remember, Jolie said $575 for video, drone, and photography. That's not what this company offers. They do not do a video. They only do Matterport, which is this 3D system here, which, you know, you decide what you feel is going to work best for you. Like I personally said, I prefer the video.
Yeah, the cost.
Yeah, give me one sec, guys. I'm going to share the cost with you on this. But so keep in mind, $575. I personally use a company called QuickVid, QWIKVID.com, and their cost for a video is $425. The video like Jolie's. So, you know, different companies have different prices and different things that they do. So anyways, we'll end this here. Right. And then we'll go to, I want to share the cost with you guys. Let's do it this way. I'll come back here. Okay. And basically, there you go. So the thing with this one that the company has partnered up with, they will charge you for a house up to 1,000 square feet, $200. That includes a Matterport 360 walkthrough and the photography. Up to 2,000 square feet, $250, and then 2,000 to 4,000 square feet, about $300. Anything above that, then, you know, you call them, but it's not too far off. So another thing is, let me give you one last tool. If you do not have a listing currently and you want to show at one of your listing appointments, or you've never done this Matterport, this is a website that they created so that you can show this to your clients on your listing appointment. and it's anotherhomesold.net. And if you do that, it's funny, I don't know why, but whenever I put it in, it shows my listing. So this is a listing of mine in Moreno Valley that I had. You guys might recall this was probably almost like a year ago. And, you know, if you go to this website, it'll do that. Also, if you do a tour with them, they'll include you on their list of agents. So you'll be able to, you know, people will be able to go to this and look you up. If you see like Christina Fernot's got, okay, well, her model's not available. Anyways, here, let's see, Studio City. All right. So if you don't have a listing or you haven't done a Matterport recently, you can go to this site, anotherhomesold.net, and show your clients, you know what, because of COVID right now, we can't, you know, have an open house. So what we could do maybe for a week, have people look at this Matterport video, and then Saturday from 12 to 4, have everybody come with their PEADV, and, you know, one party at a time through the house, and we'll spray them with sanitizer and make them wear a mask. So just something to you know, for you to have in your toolbox when you go out on a listing appointment between now and the next few months. Anotherhomesold.net, please write that down, don't forget. And if you want more info on either of the three companies, please message me and I will give you the contact info for every one of them. So, all right, let's go to back to the numbers. All right, so we have 12 pending transactions so far, and we're on July 21st. So congrats to Renee Nava, the Morales team, Marjorie Tyson, Rosie Melgoza, Bernadette, Don Roberts, and Carrie. And then as far as closed transactions, so far we've got 10. So Marjorie Tyson, Renee, Don Roberts, Marjorie Tyson again, Christina Fernot, Nancy Huang, Feng and Nancy, and Robert Anyam. So congratulations to all of you. Keep up the amazing work. Do we have Christy Rye or anybody on the Christy Rye team? Please unmute yourself. Hello? No? All right, no Christy Rye. What about Joe Coy? He's here.
Joe Coy.
Hey, good
There
morning.
he is. All right.
How's it going? So got some updates for you guys today. The first thing that we'll start with is the rates. Rates have continued to remain pretty flat. Excellent. You know, you're looking at about 3.0 on a conforming conventional loan, about 3.125 on a high balance conventional loan. And for FHA and VA, assuming a 720 plus FICO score, you're looking at about a 2.75% interest rate. So really just some incredible rates. One thing I wanted to talk about today was loans for medical professionals. I've been getting this question a lot recently, specifically for doctors. People are interested if there's loans designed specifically for doctors. And there are, mainly jumbo loans. So we have a jumbo loan product where you can put as little as 5% down up to a $1 million loan amount, which is kind of unheard of for jumbo loans right now. Jumbo loans in general, their guidelines have gotten a lot stricter ever since the COVID took place. So you're seeing kind of the more standard down payment requirement being 20% these days. But again, you can put as little as 5% down if you're a doctor. So it's not for nurses or you know, anyone else in the medical field. It's specifically for doctors. If you want to go up to a loan amount of 1.5 million, the down payment requirement becomes 10%. And some of the additional features that make this loan so aggressive is that if your student loans are deferred or in forbearance for the next 12 months, they won't use any payment in the debt to income ratio calculation, which is very important for doctors because a lot of times doctors, it's easy for them to have 100, 200, I've seen up to $400,000 in student loan debt. And with a conventional mortgage, for instance, if there was no payment showing up on the credit report, you'd be required to use 1% of the loan balance. For instance, 1% of 400,000 would be $4,000 per month, and that can have a huge impact on the amount that somebody qualifies for. So it's very aggressive when it comes to student loans. Another thing that's very beneficial is it'll allow you to use income from a job that you haven't even started prior to the closing date, as long as you have the offer letter that you'll start the job within 30 days of closing the transaction. And that's something that you're never going to find with conventional or FHA mortgage. So they design these loans very aggressively for doctors, but you're really not going to be able to find something else like that outside of the jumbo market. There are some programs that are designed for people in the medical field that aren't necessarily doctors. And there's a program from the Golden State Finance Authority. It's called Platinum Select. This program will give you 5% of the first mortgage loan amount, and it's forgiven from day one. It's a grant. You don't need to meet any additional requirements for it to become a grant, such as you don't have to live in the property for X amount of years. The grant from day one, as long as you're in the medical field. Again, this is for nurses, for doctors, for anybody who works at a hospital.
What about
some of the
dentists,
requirements
Joe?
are a 660 FICO score, and it has a maximum loan amount of $510,400, which is the conforming loan limit. But those are, some programs are designed specifically for medical professionals. We do have flyers for these programs, so if any of you would like a flyer, we can get that over to you, something you can promote on your social media, at your open houses, maybe to someone in your sphere of influence who falls under one of those occupations. Does anybody have any questions about those programs?
I think Don had a question.
Yeah, Joe, do dentists count?
They do. They do for both of those programs.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, as long as if they're a doctor, then they'll qualify for that jumbo loan that we discussed, and then they'll definitely qualify for the down payment assistance program as well.
Cool, thanks.
You guys, and do you remember a couple of months ago I shared how one of my or agents that I used to work with in the past, he said that a lender down in the Midwest had a website that was specifically about doctor loans. And at the time, there wasn't any program specifically for doctors, but this guy had just created a niche that said, all we do is doctor loans, specifically doctor programs for lending. And that was the guy's niche that he was working. Yes, sometimes these programs do come alive and whatnot, but when somebody asks you, hey, do you guys offer special financing for law enforcement? Yes, we do. Come on in. Do you offer special financing for dentists? Absolutely. You just never know. And trust me, there's people out there that are advertising that there are these programs when in reality they're not. The other thing is down payment assistance, believe it or not, a lot of lenders in the past used to say, oh, that's just the hook. I just advertise that as the hook, but then I try to sell the borrower on a regular FHA. Now, that's not the case anymore, because Joe will tell you that they figured out how to process these loans in a timely manner and, make it very easy to put together and process. So now they're like, you know what, when the client really does need it and they really don't have the down payment, then we put them in that program. But just something to think about, whenever somebody asks you, hey, do you guys have any programs for teachers? Yes, we do. I actually made the mistake a couple of years ago of saying, no, you know what, CalPERS went away. There used to be a program for teachers if they were in CalPERS, or Joe maybe correct me, CalSTRS, where they would get an 80-20, they'd get a first and a second at different rates. And it was actually a pretty good conventional deal for a lot of teachers out there. And then all of a sudden it went away. But if you ever have a teacher ask you, hey, do you have teacher programs? Absolutely. Let me get you as my teacher specialist, Joe Coy at New American Funding, and he'll help you out. So just something to keep in mind, guys. Moving on. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being on the call, my man. Moving on here, I want to click through. Stephanie's not on. She's on vacation. And I don't know if we have anybody from Property ID, do we? No. Mr. Dennis Rosas, I know you're on the call.
Yes, I am, Benny. Thank you. Hey, Cypress office, how you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Does anybody have more enthusiasm, more energy than Benny does? Okay, if you do, I got 20 bucks for you right now.
Oh, come on. You're gonna be
No,
out 2
energy,
grand now.
passion, energy, passion. Let me just take a couple minutes, and I want to say thank you to all Cypress office staff. But I'm actually going to work on a video and we'll share, and I hope that you share this because I'm proud of all the agents in our company. But we're going to be doing a video. This just arrived a couple weeks ago. Number 19 out of the Berkshire Halfway brand, BHHS, out of the top 50. Maybe if you put in perspective, number 19 out of 1,200 companies. So I am dedicating, I'll do a video later today or Thursday, dedicated to Bruce Mulhern. His leadership skills to lead by example, his business passion, his business determination. We all need a little bit of that and more through COVID-19 because we're committed to being the best version of us individually, as an office, as a company, as a brand. But this award is thanks to the hardworking agents, the managers like Benny and John, the corporate and office staff, the Castlehead staff. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And ultimately, we closed 3,161 closed transactions in 2019, 3,161. Thank you guys. And that ultimately is thanks to the buyers and sellers that we worked with. Reach out to them, connect with them in the second half of 2020. Say thank you, we appreciate because of you individually became collectively success. And that's what teamwork is about. That's why using the brand value, the forever brand, the forever company, and the forever agent. So thank you guys for being part of our team. It's individually that we do well as a team. So thank you for all being part of that. And thank you for Benny and John leading us through this. The second half is up to us. It could be as simple as picking up our phone and calling our sphere of influence and connecting with them, see how they're doing, or call our clients from last year and saying, hey, we're in the business. We are like Bruce Mulhern. We have the business passion and the business determination to help and serve all your real estate needs. So thank you guys from the Cypress office. Appreciate you.
Hey, Dennis, this is John.
Hey, John, yes, I see you. Nice to see you.
I was going to promote, but since you're here, could you just talk a little bit about what's coming up this Thursday, 1:30?
Yes, thanks, John. This Thursday, 1:30, Debbie DeGros is circling back with us to help us work connecting with lead follow-up. And lead follow-up is 6 months to 9 months. It takes patience and determination to follow up. So she's teaching this Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30. The following Thursday, we have a special treat. We have Danielle Kennedy, who's going to be sitting in and leading our Zoom call on how to connect by video with your sphere of influence, how to posture, and I'm still in this progress myself, working on this, looking at the camera, not at the screen. So I'm still working on this myself, you guys, but staying connected with your sphere of influence, showing we care. I know I care. I built my business on being a salesperson with follow-up, service, lead, development, what I love to call as profit-seeking time. And the point becomes that, so we have some 1031 exchange speakers in the month of August. We're working on maybe Christy Wright teaching county records research, so some of the modifications so we can help you. So Thursdays, 1:30 to 2:30, 2:45 is the place to be. And of course, on your Tuesday Cypress meeting. So thanks, John, for reminding that. This Thursday, 1:30.
Dennis, one question is, do you send out an email to everybody with?
We do on Mondays in the newsletter. If you're not receiving them, sometimes people in the past have blocked the link. I get it. That was then. This is now. So check with Susie or email let these people aren't receiving them. We send an email on Monday newsletter, and then we also communicate to the offices. So every Thursday, we've had 18 of these since COVID-19 has started. What I thought is, okay, let's push our Thursday 1:30. It kind of replaces the Thursday morning session. This way, Benny doesn't have to go have breakfast at 6 in the morning before the Thursday morning advanced training. He gets to sleep in half an hour longer. And then on 1:30 on live. And listen, we'd rather be connected. I talk numbers to help you with your sphere of influence, but it's still about business relationships. It's about people. It's about using the forever brand, the forever company, and you being each the forever agent.
All right. Well, thank you.
And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it.
All right, we believe you. So good, awesome. So you guys, we wanted to. John and I thought that for this meeting we wanted to have more of like an open forum. Some people call it a mastermind. I just kind of wanted to, have it open, and please don't be shy. But please unmute yourself and ask questions. I decided to maybe do some lead-in questions, but whatever you have on your mind, if there's something that's been bothering you, something that you can't get over, you've been having issues with clients on a certain topic, please, now's the time to ask that. But and you know what? It's best if you raise your hand and join us. I know that Nancy, did you have a question?
Oh, well, I had a question about what Dennis was saying earlier. I was just curious if those classes are recorded so that you can listen to them later.
I'll take that, Benny. The majority are. We've had a few that they will not allow us to, like Bill Jansen doesn't like to be recorded for legal updates because he feels they could be edited and used against him in the court of law. But majority are. Reach out to Susie, and we had the Mohorn Academy. We're placing some of them, but I agree, not everybody can be available on Thursday, and we want you to focus on priorities, business or personal. So we are recording many of them. So I would record every one, okay, because I believe in learning. But the majority, Nancy, are recorded. But check with Susie, and she'll help you with that.
Thank you.
Here at the corporate office. No, thank you. Thank you.
And like Dennis said, so this Thursday they have Debbie DeGroat coming, and then
Debbie's will be recorded, so we have hers.
And then the following week you're going to have Danielle Kennedy, which Dennis, you guys mentioned in the managers meeting, but you guys forgot to mention she was also on Netflix Narcos.
Oh yeah, that's it. I was teasing. I knew she was on a Netflix. I was teasing about it. You guys heard this company called Netflix?
Yeah.
She was on. She's been in Criminal Minds. She's been in a lot of shows. She was a real estate agent. She became a real estate trainer. She worked with Tom Hopkins. In fact, Bruce was very instrumental in helping Danielle Kennedy being proactive as one of the first female leading speakers. Wow. And so she was one of those also gave the celebration of life. So Art Mortel, then Danielle Kennedy are rock stars. So
very well. All right. So guys, what I'm thinking I'll do is I want to maybe ask around in the group. So the first question I had to lead in was, how are you working through COVID? Nancy, if you don't mind me asking you, could I ask you, how are you working through it?
Oh, sure. I guess I'm just trying to find opportunities where I can still meet people safely, either like by making phone calls or actually it's been by making phone calls and texting people. Okay. And connecting through like social media. And I was just thinking about also creating more video content. So I appreciate you sharing the photographer's information, because I'm actually looking for someone like a videographer that can just help me with a couple videos.
Got it. Yeah. That's great, guys. It's just like we said a few minutes ago, now it's actually almost coming up on 5 months. So you're either going to be 5 months behind or 5 months ahead. So, you have to kind of find a way of working through this. And just like I shared with you last week about the guy who climbed Mount Everest, he said he was going to die either way. So either die by laying there or die by moving. So you want to do that. I want to pick on, please don't be shy, guys, if I pick on you, Rosie Malgoza, because I have to be, I have to give credit where credit's due. Rosie, you've been a mover ever since you came to this office. And I don't know how long it's been. It's only been a couple of months, but I've been watching you, and you're like going 100 miles an hour. And it's really nice to see that. How are you working through COVID?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, I've been reaching out to past clients and connecting with a lot of them. And I've been very surprised that a lot of people is ready to purchase during this time. So I've been taken aback by it. I was like, wow. It's been interesting how the market is moving and how many buyers are out there. To be honest, I took a break from sales to be a mommy, but now that I'm back, I feel like when I was single and I was doing all of this business and everything, it's been coming back really strongly. So I feel like when I was 20 years old and doing this business.
Good.
Yeah.
One thing that I had mentioned many weeks ago was that my clients had told me, I want to say maybe in March, hey, Benny, we're not going to buy until after the school year's over, right? The semester's over. So in summer, right? And they said June. Well, that went away because, of the stay-at-home order. And then the other thing was when they started looking, the payment was $500 higher than what they ended up getting because of the rates. If you guys check again, guys, the rates, and we just had Joe Coy saying it, purchases on FHA are 2.75, let that sink in. Think of that number. Dennis and John will attest to this, that the average rate in the last maybe 10 years was probably about 5 to 8%. Would you agree with that, Dennis?
Probably 7 to 8% more accurate.
7 to 8%, guys. Yeah. So 2.75, obviously, yes. I've always said this to people, is when rates are low, prices are high, and when prices are low, rates are high. But hey, you know what? I think on the short term, real estate is not a win investment on the short, but after 10 years, you definitely will have equity. And I mean, there you have it, 2.75. What a better way. So, all right. What precautionary methods are you using with clients to stay safe? Don Roberts has been out there. I'm going to unmute Don Roberts. There you
go. Precautionary methods. I always send the PED form before I go out to a property, and if it's necessary. Sometimes you can just take the blanks with you and fill them out there. But I've probably shown, since this whole virus thing started, I've probably shown 3 times the number of houses I showed all last year. I've had a lot more success this year, obviously, too. And people, realistically, if they're out there looking at homes, they're ready to buy. I mean, that's really, I haven't had anybody that hasn't been a serious buyer yet. And the precautions that you take, if you explain it to the people ahead of time, I haven't had anybody give me any trouble. They're more than willing to put on a mask, more than willing to put on gloves, more than willing to put on booties if they're available. And if you keep the social distancing, everything runs really smooth. And I don't think there's really an issue if you really want to get out there and show the property, if you're not afraid. And I think fear is the biggest thing people have, and it's not necessary. We got to live with a confidence, and the good Lord's up there is going to take care of you, and just go out there, protect yourself, but be smart.
Hey, Don.
Thank you for sharing. I wanted to also mention is, the mask is probably the only thing now, and maybe like, sanitizing your hands. You're no longer required to wear booties or gloves, but you are welcome to. But you know what's funny, guys? The biggest thing right now is getting your offer accepted. It's not so much showing the place anymore. It's, outbidding the outbidders, because that's another thing that I wanted to share with you. Those listings that we have under contract in the office, they're all 6 days or less on market. That's a sign of how the market is moving. So, in my head right now, when I'm going out to a property with a buyer, I'm saying we need to at least be 20 grand over ask. If it's a hot place, if it's nice, it's pretty and it's priced well, we need to at least be 20 grand over ask. And who knows, because it might even go higher than that. So, all right.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead,
Benny,
John.
I wanted to ask Don, and maybe for you guys, to think about, but Don, when you are showing property, are you putting them in your car, or are you having them follow you, or are you just meeting them there at the house?
Every single one of them meets me at the property. I haven't had anybody that I've needed to transport, and I wouldn't have a problem with it, as long as I got a big spray hose and I can wash my car inside and out. But I really have had nobody ask to ride with me. They're pretty good about sitting in their cars, and if you have more than one person that you're trying to show property, I have had no issues with someone saying, well, we all want to go in and look at the same time, and I just explained to them it's one at a time. And it's worked out perfectly.
Good. Hey, Benny, I also wanted to throw this out because it's kind of in this subject, is that I was looking at the California Association of Realtors, weekly update, and it's basically saying a lot of positive signs bound for California's economy and housing market. Housing demand remains robust, rates at all-time low levels, evidence of pent-up demand. And this one is the one I thought, it says new mortgage purchase applications, right? So these aren't refis. This is purchase applications, increased last week by 4.3% from the previous week, which is, whatever. But however, on a year-to-year basis, mortgage applications remain much stronger than they were at the same time in 2019, with 15% more applications filed last week. So I wanted to point that out. There is a pent-up demand. A lot of people want to buy, and it's even saying that sellers are now looking at percentage of California survey in July who thought it was a good time to sell had improved by 44%. So sentiment continued to improve in July for sellers as well, although it still seems to be difficult to find those listings. But anyway, Benny, I just wanted to throw that out, and
cool.
and I was real curious as to if people are meeting us, which I would hope for, at the property, Don, and that sounded good.
And guys, Bruce Mulhern would sit here and tell us all, meet with your client, bring them in your car, build rapport, have some bottled waters, buy a fancy car with nice leather seats, so they feel comfortable, and then you have them in a enclosed environment on the way back from the last property, so you could talk about what offer you're going to make. To be quite honest with you guys, I haven't had a person in my car in maybe the last 7 years. They always follow me. And even though I have a four-seater car, they always follow me to the property. Writing an offer, I remember when I first started, I even had a small little Canon printer where I would print the offer in the passenger seat and have the client sign on the hood of the car. Now it's just, hey, I'll head back to my office. I'll email you for your DocuSign. Things have really changed. I think there's, I always like to say, find the negative in every positive. I think this whole situation has made us all rethink how the meeting and the conducting and handling of our business can be made even more digital than ever before. Another thing with what John Greer was just mentioning, guys, a lot of my conversations lately, the last few weeks with people have been that they're thinking that they're possibly going to move out of state. And then another thing that has been another stat there that is big right now is home improvement sales went up. So a lot of people at home right now made all these improvements to their homes that their homes were lacking, right? A lot of them refinance at this new 2.75 rate. So that explains your high mortgage application. But I'm thinking that after these elections and a couple months from now, maybe a couple in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to have an uptick in people leaving the state and more sales generated by that. So it's crazy, but I really do not see whatsoever a crash or any kind of a drop or even an adjustment in prices, unless, of course, yes, the market gets flooded later with a lot of these people leaving the state. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty solid. And then the other thing that I think reassures a lot of people also not leaving the state is these ones that refinanced at 2.75. So maybe if they do leave, they might leave that home behind as a rental. But all right, on to the next one. And you know, as we get closer to time, has COVID-19 made your work harder or easier? Let me see. Who can I pick on somebody here? Let me ask Ludi. Ludi, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, I
There she
did.
is. Has COVID-19 made your work harder or easier?
I think easier.
Okay.
I think easier because I talk with my clients, past clients, just an excuse to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Doing more things from the house, I have a home office here,
Mm-hmm.
and just touching bases with them, doing more. We're doing more like a virtual meetings, stay in contact.
Yeah.
And I'm updating my stuff, my templates from Wing Forms. I'm not doing that much driving.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier, but just staying in contact, you know.
Got it.
I don't come too much at the office, but I'm still out there building up my pipeline.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what happened to me before. You know, you just built the pipeline, and then all of a sudden, everyone wants to do the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So, but for me, for my experience, it's okay. It's okay. I'm
good. Good. You know, Dennis said that his work has become harder during this time, but you know, I think for all of us, it's just, you know, the adjustment of you know, adapting to a new thing and having to use technology more. And you know, as our company also evolves, you know, in the positive direction of adapting to the newer technologies like SkySlope and, you know, these Zoom meetings. To be honest with you guys, the attendance on these Zoom meetings overall, not just with our company, but
way better.
And other sectors out there have all reported higher attendance to these meetings. So you never know. Sometimes either you adapt or life forces you to adapt to these things. And to me personally, it's been a little harder over the last, you know, few months for me personally, but I feel that the technology and all this stuff has actually made it a lot easier. Although I always leaned more for technology and making things easier. So there it is.
Hey, you know what, Benny? I would just want to say one thing positive about this COVID thing is, you know, I'm having to drive further to find less expensive homes, but the freeways are so great that it's actually an enjoyment going out to the further distances because you can get there in an amazing time, and your clients are more ready to travel too. And of course, the prices and the interest rates have got everybody hopping. So there's really no excuses that you can't sell right now.
Yeah. You know, the other day I got in trouble by with Dennis. I actually zoomed past him on the 605 freeway, and he called me. He says, "Hey, I'm not the CHP, but I'm about to turn into one if you don't slow down." So, anybody want to share any transaction issues that you've had? Something that you know feel that you might need to share? You know, they say that when you teach, you grow. You know, you learn even more. So if there's something that an issue that you have that you might want to bring up right now, please do so. If anybody out there has an issue, I'll go ahead and share one with you guys right now. And you're going to probably say shame on Benny for this one. But I went on a listing appointment with my client's mother, and they swore up and down that their dad, of whom my client's mother's divorced from for over 10 years now, that he would agree to list the property and everything, and he was going to be okay with giving the mother her full share of the home, not half, but actually the whole 100% proceeds. Well, I went along and went in belief with my client and her mother, and it turns out that obviously that's not the case with the husband. So right now we're in negotiating on that. The only good thing is that we are in escrow and we're a little bit over halfway done. So they're just going back and forth with how much money disbursement they're gonna go. They're not quite gonna go 50-50 because the husband has kind of walked away about 10 years ago from the property and any obligations with it. But they're trying to dial down a number. Now, here's the funny part. If you know, all courts are closed, or most courts are closed. So for them to get a court date, if they want to, go battle it out, it's probably going to be sometime next year, right? So with having that in the back of their minds, they're coming up with a number over the next few days. But so there you have it. Another way that this sadly, this negative is bringing a positive in that these people aren't going to wait any longer to decide what the final number is. They're just battling it out on their own. So something to share. I mean, if I could have done it differently, I think the next time, the day that I took the listing, I would have gone to the husband's house or probably had everybody meet together that same day, just so we could, knock it out at that moment. But then again, see, it's all the way your perspective, right? Because the way I see it too is now that we're further into the transaction, it's almost like no turning back, So we're gonna have to find a solution and get this thing closed. Whereas maybe, when we were pre-listing, the day that I was taking the listing, maybe that day they would have had an all-out outrage war, and maybe would have never even gone on the market. So just something to think about. All right. In closing, guys, I want you to maybe if you want to unmute yourself and share or not, I just wanted to say or ask, how many transactions do you see yourself closing in the next 5 months? Remember, the first half of the year is done, and it hasn't been an easy year. But when you ask Christina Furneaux, when you ask Don Roberts, when you ask Feng and Nancy, when you ask me, when you ask the Morales team, when you ask Tamara Michike and Marjorie Tyson, all these top producers, was 2020 a bad year? Their answer is going to be like, well, one of my friend's wife said the other day, COVID is the best thing that happened to my real estate business. So my question to you is, how many transactions do you see yourself closing in the next 5 months? Anybody want to volunteer a number?
8.
Don Roberts says 8. Okay, good. Guys, there's no right or wrong answer. You just, come up with a number. You should set, that they say that when you write a goal down, somehow it magically happens. Of course, yes, you need to put in your 2 cents and your energy and your activity and your commitment and accountability to doing it. But if you don't have a goal, then how are you going to reach it? Or if you don't have a destination, how are you going to get there? So try to come up with a number that you see yourself doing in the next 5 months.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that we just got this info yesterday for the top 25 last month and the top 35 for year to date. Sure. Could I have a minute to share that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to say congrats to Christina Furneaux. She was number 5 last month. Yeah. Jolie was number 11. Patrick Delaney was number 13 in the whole company. That's pretty good. And yay.
Yeah.
And then for year to date, Christina Furneaux is number 8 in the company. Let me scroll down here. And then we've got Tamara Mitchke at 26 in the company, and we've got Renee Nava at 32 in the top 35. And then as far as teams, Nancy and Fang are number 8, and the Morales team, Eduardo, is number 9.
All right.
So I just think that's awesome, and congratulations to all you guys.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. So guys, you know, for the rest of you on the call, you know, these people that John just mentioned, they decided not to, you know, sit on the sideline, you know, for this time being. And you know, hey, everybody's got, you know, a different situation at home. I think one of the things that we talked about with Dennis was, are you essential to your family? If you are essential to your family, meaning that you are somebody that brings home, you know, the income to support the family, you know, are you gonna stay at home and die, or are you gonna die out, you know, working and bringing that income to your family? And like I said in the last meeting, guys, we're all gonna die, right? It's either gonna be COVID or it's gonna be a car crash tonight on the way home. It'll be 20 years from today, sitting on the side of the beach and this big tsunami hits. I mean, or whatever, right? Natural causes, whatever. We're all gonna die. The question is, will you die laying there or will you die moving? Just to end, the last 2 thoughts, guys, and we gotta go. What will you do to end 2020 on a positive note? What will you do to end 2020 on a positive note? Maybe right now, because of the interest of time, you know, ponder on this one. Think about it. What will you do to end 2020 on a positive note? And the last one is, will you commit to an accountability partner to help you reach your 2020 goals? You know, I tell people that I don't know how to spell the word commit. I don't even know how to say the word commitment, but jokingly. But, you know, will you commit to an accountability partner to help you reach your 2020 goals? Trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy to do. I've been in accountability groups before that only lasted a couple of weeks. It is hard to commit. It's not an easy thing. Not everybody has that in them. But will you commit to an accountability partner to help you reach your 2020 goals? Are you off? Are you on track? You're at just a little bit beyond the half of the year. You've got 5 months left to end 2020 on a positive note. And again, like I said, John just named off all these people who obviously COVID-19 did not affect them, right? You know, I was talking to a friend the other day. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it, right? Everybody is dealt a different deck of cards, right? It's how you go through. If you've ever played Texas Hold'em, there are guys who get the worst hand in poker that win the pot because they bluff their way through it, right? It's their skill that they've learned over time, their practice, being dealt good hands and bad hands, and how they react to that to end up winning the pot at the end of the day. So, you know, how will you react to what's going on around us right now? And I think the biggest thing is this: committing to somebody else. And it doesn't have to be somebody in your office. It could be your spouse at home. It could be one of your best friends. You know, somebody. Make a goal, or a goal to commit to somebody and to reach your 2020 goals. And with that, guys, I think we've run out of time. I wish you all a very successful week. The weather is beautiful. The rates are low. There are buyers all over the place. The easiest conversation starter right now is, hey, Dennis, thinking about you and your family. Hope you guys are well during this time. Is there anything that you guys need? A roll of toilet paper, a case of water, anything. Please don't hesitate. How about sending that as a text message?
Thank you for asking, Benny. My wife says as long as I keep coming to the office and stay enclosed in a bubble, she's fine, because if I were to stay home, I'd drive her crazy. So Monday, Friday, I still come to the office. Hey, last thing, I'm going to have Susie send you the Monday email newsletter, Benny, to John, so you guys forward out to your agents promoting this Thursday.
Sounds good.
No harm, no foul. I don't care what the past happened. That's the past. but we'll get that email so we get you back in the Monday email newsletter on the list. Okay, we're here to
Good.
move forward. So I'll Susie will send it out to you guys. Thank you. Hey, by the way, you know, Benny may not know how to spell commitment, but he knows how to live it and create the results. So I'm proud of Benny. And John, I'm proud of you as well, my friend. So both of you in the leadership team, lead by example, and you do. So Benny, I'm not worried what you spell. I'm worried about your action and daily activities and your results, and you're living it. So be well, everybody. Take care.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Before I go, I'm just going to check the chat box to see if anybody else said, are these, yeah. So, okay, maybe Nancy was talking about the other, got it. Anyways, you guys know that all of our office meetings are recorded and they are on YouTube at lahomeguy. Sorry, if you just put in the search bar LA Home Guy, all of our trainings and all of our Tuesday meetings are on there. Cool. Wishing you guys a lot of success. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Benny. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.